Whether you realize it or not, right now, there's a battle being fought for your most valuable resource. It's happening all the time, silently on the little screen in your hand. This is the battle for your brain. And really, it's a fight for your focused attention.
So let me just ask you this straight up. Does it ever feel like your phone, your feed, your apps are actively fighting for control of your brain? Because, let's be honest, in a lot of ways, they are.
I'm willing to bet some of this sounds pretty familiar, right? That weird time warp where you look up from your phone and, whoops, an hour has just vanished? Or that kind of low-grade exhaustion you just can't shake, maybe a sore neck from looking down all the time. Our sources even call this a state of disembodiment. It's wild, where you almost forget your body is even there. And it makes deep, focused thinking feel next to impossible. If you're nodding along, trust me, you are not alone.
Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to pull back the curtain and take a look at the actual architecture that's been designed to capture and hold your focus. And here's the thing you have to understand. None of this is happening by accident. It's all engineered.
Now, what's so fascinating is how much things have changed. Think about the early internet. You had to go out and actively pull information towards you, right? You were basically the hunter. Well, today, the roles have completely flipped. Information, content, ads, they're all being constantly pushed at you. They're hunting for your attention.
And the main weapon in this hunt? It's something called algorithmic curation. To put it simply, what you see on your feed isn't just a random chronological list of what's new. Oh no, it is a highly sophisticated, automated system that is always calculating what's going to be most effective at keeping you glued to that screen.
So how exactly does it work? Well, it's basically a three-step loop that just keeps running. First, it collects data on absolutely everything you do, every like, every share, even how long you pause on a picture. Second, it crunches all that data to predict what you'll do next. And third, it curates your feed, a personalized reality, built specifically to hook you and keep you there. It's just a constant cycle of data, prediction, curation.
And they have a whole toolkit to make this happen. Platforms use psychological tricks like variable reward schedules. That's basically the slot machine effect. You just keep pulling the lever, refreshing the feed, hoping for that little dopamine hit. They also amplify emotional content because, well, outrage gets way more clicks than nuance. They trap us in these filter bubbles, and maybe the craziest part, they run massive A/B tests. These are basically giant science experiments on millions of us, all the time, to see which button color or headline is the most addictive.
This quote from the researcher Pavithran Rajan just puts it so perfectly. In this new economy, our ability to focus, our cognitive resources, that's the raw material being sold. And our very susceptibility to being influenced, that's become the final product.
So you might be thinking, okay, so what? I waste a little time scrolling. Why does this really matter? Well, the truth is the consequences go way, way beyond just wasted time. What's truly at stake here is so much bigger.
And this brings us to a really crucial idea, cognitive liberty. Think about it like this. We all know about freedom of thought, which protects what you think. But cognitive liberty goes a step further. It's about protecting your fundamental right to control how you think, to control your own mental processes without all this unwanted outside interference.
And that leads right into this next concept, cognitive sovereignty. So if liberty is the right to control your mind, sovereignty is the practice of it. It's really the mental version of bodily autonomy, the power to actively protect your attention, your memory, and your decisions from these manipulative digital forces.
And when you look at it this way, you realize the stakes are just incredibly high. Politically, democracy needs informed citizens, and that's really tough when our information is designed for engagement, not accuracy. Economically, we're slowly being turned into consumers whose choices are subtly guided. Psychologically, our attention spans are shrinking and anxiety is going up. And culturally, well, algorithms are basically the new gatekeepers deciding which ideas and values get amplified across society.
Okay, so that was the heavy stuff. But here's the good news. There are concrete, totally doable things we can all do to reclaim our focus. So let's look at the toolkit for mental autonomy.
When you're up against this massive architecture of capture, how do you actually start to fight back and get back some of that control?
Honestly, it starts with small, simple things. First, create what are called micro-pauses. Seriously, just stand up and stretch every half hour. Second, build some digital rituals. A really powerful one is making the hour before bed a totally screen-free zone. Third, and this is a big one, intentionally reconnect with your body. Go for a walk and leave the headphones at home.
Just notice the world around you for a change.
You can also start using the tech against itself. Get ruthless with your notifications. If it's not from an actual human, just turn it off. Use your phone's focus modes to create little digital sanctuaries in your day. And hey, dare to look at your weekly screen time report. See where your attention is really going. You can also consciously train your algorithm. Follow different voices, and don't be afraid to smash that not interested button. It's like house training a puppy. You gotta show it what not to do.
And please, remember this. Finding this balance isn't something you do once and then you're magically cured. It's a continuous process. It's about noticing and adjusting and just being a little more mindful of where you're spending your focus. It's all about awareness, not about being perfect.
I want to end with this really powerful thought from our source material. It's such a simple but profound idea that our minds are just as fundamental to our freedom as our bodies and our right to vote. They really, really deserve to be under our own control.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. After everything we've talked about, what's one small change you're going to make, starting today, to reclaim just a little bit more of your own focus?